Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly session on nectar of instruction. And today we'll be discussing seventh verse and the topic, the title for today's session is chant and be happy. Let's see what Rupa Goswami is going to tell us about being happy. So before we begin, as usual, we'll chant the mantra of Swami. Sri Chaitanya Mangal Krishna Sthapitam Mangalam Swayam Rupa Tadamana Tadanti Swapatana. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this world, within this material world, a mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus. We pray to Rupa Goswami, beg for some shelter under his lotus feet and so we'll do a quick recap. We'll not spend much time. We have a lot to cover during this session, but let's go back a little bit to find out why we came to nectar of instructions. So the nectar of instructions are the instructions Prabhupada wanted those sincere devotees to study this book. Therefore, he included this book in one of the subject in the Bhakti Shastra course as well. So he wanted sincere devotees to study this book, not only just read, just study this book. He also wanted this book to be distributed widely. So it's useful for everyone. So this book, comes after the Bhagavad Gita, after the discussion of Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, we have concluded that how Krishna is the ultimate goal to be achieved in the human form of life. If we have any goal, should we have any goal, that goal should be Krishna. And we have to attain Krishna in one lifetime. That should be the goal of our life. And how do we do this? The Tamam Abhijanam. I am known only by my devotees. Become my devotee. Manmana Bhavavan Bhakti. So there are several instructions, verses after verses. Krishna has emphasized on us becoming his devotee. So the bhakti or the devotional service that we have translated is the process to be followed for attaining the goal. The goal is Krishna and the bhakti is the process. Devotional service is the process to be followed. And can we do it all by ourselves? No. The 34th verse of the chapter, Krishna says, Padvidi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Padikshanti Te Jnanam Jnanina Tattvadarshana. You need to find out a guru, bona fide guru, who comes in parampara, evam parampara patam, evam rajarshya vidu, sa kale nayam bhuta, yoga nashta parampara. This knowledge is not, somebody has not discovered it. It has been passed on from Lord to his devotees, and within devotees, it is being given in the parampara. So this knowledge comes in parampara. Therefore, we need to find a guru who is also connected with a bona fide parampara. So that he becomes a bona fide guru. And then Rupa Goswami explains what qualities this guru should have as a person. He should be able to control different urges of his mind and body. Vacho Vedam, Namasa Krodha Vedam, Jivha, Vedam Udara Upasasa Vedam. These Vegas, these urges of these Indriyas, one should be able to control. And one should be attached to Krishna, lovingly serving Krishna. One should be in the service of Krishna. That person is a guru. One should be prepared to, one should have made Krishna his goal, his objective of life. And such person, if he is serving Krishna, if he is able to control the Vedas, then such person is a guru. Guru is the one who knows the way, who shows the way, and walk the same way. So there's no difference. There is not a duplicate person. He speaks something but does something else. He's not that kind of a person. So he walks, he knows the way, he shows the way, and he walks the same way. So such is a bona fide guru we should accept. And when we accept him as a guru, and when we inquire from him, we start rendering service to him in some form or the other, the guru will show his mercy by giving us knowledge. And what guru will give us? Guru will give us Krishna. Guru has Krishna, Guru can share Krishna with us. And by sharing, Guru's ecstasy will increase. He will feel more happy. He will feel more related. If you become a devotee, he becomes double happy. So that is what Guru will do. Give you. Guru will whatever Guru possesses, he will give you. Guru possesses Krishna, he will give you Krishna. If Guru possesses ability to regulate and control mind and senses, he will give that to you. He will teach you the secret of that. And that is what we should all aspire to learn from Guru. And once we get connected with the Krishna consciousness movement, this is what we should want to do. Further, Rupa Goswami explains list six activities: Pratyahara, Prayasasya, Prajalpa, Niyamagraha, Jagasangasya, Laulyam cha, Shradhirukti, Vinakshati. So what these six activities will do, they will destroy our bhakti. It's like pouring water on the wood which we intend to burn. It will just cause a lot of smoke and the burning will remain incomplete. So it's a lose-lose proposition. So we should be very careful of not indulging in those six activities if you want to progress on the path of bhakti. And we discuss each of those concepts in detail. And then the third verse, Rupa Goswami give a list of six activities which will enhance our bhakti. And which are those? Those are उत्साह निश्चय धैर्य तत्त कर्म प्रवर्तन संगत्यागात सतो वृत्ति षड्वीर भक्ति प्रसिद्धति. So these six activities if one does, his bhakti will enhance. It will be very conducive for the bhakti and for becoming a better devotee. And so how do we perform bhakti? Bhakti is not done alone. We ekantaki hare bhakti utpada eva kalpate. एकांत की अगर कोई अकेले में भक्ति करना चाहता है तो अगर कोई ये सोचता है कि मैं और मेरे भगवान और मुझे किसी की जरूरत नहीं है, I don't need anybody else, then that person is wrong because Bhagavan Krishna is never alone. Krishna always likes to be with his devotees. He wants to reciprocate with devotees in different rasas. So he's not, you can't find Krishna alone. Shri Krishna will always be associated with his devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes on this planet to inaugurate Sankirtan movement. He comes with entire paraphernalia. Balram comes as Nityananda Prabhu. Mahavishnu, expansion of Mahavishnu comes as Advaita Acharya. Radharani comes as Gadadhar Pandit. Narad Muni comes as Shivas Pandit. So on and so forth. Everyone comes. All the demigods take different appears as different different persons in the God Lila. Same we see in the Krishna Lila as well. That before the birth of Lord Krishna, all the demigods wanted to take birth in the Mathura region, so that they can witness and play their part in the pastimes of the Lord. As once the Lord will come, he will perform pastimes, and everybody, devotees want to see, they want to witness those pastimes, so that they can do bodhayanta parasparam and tushyanti charabuddhicha. Later, they can discuss those pastimes and derive great pleasure from those such discussions. And so that's why they want to witness. So they all want to come. So similarly, Krishna is never alone. So he will always be surrounded by his devotees. And so we must learn how to deal with both Lord as well as his devotees. So the 6 ways in which we can have loving exchanges with people in specific devotees were explained in the next verse, where Rupa Goswami says that Dadati Pratigrahanati Bijam Akhyati Pruchatam and Bhunte Bhujayate Charam Shadvidha Priti Lakshana. These are Lakshana, these are symptoms of love between devotees. This can be applied in general, but also amongst devotees, these are applicable. In the 5th verse, now having touched upon the topic of devotees, Rupa Goswami takes this discussion further. That not all devotees, anybody who wears Panthimala, who carries a bead bag, wears a tilak, wears dhuti kurta. Now, apparently, he may look like a devotee. Not all devotees are at the same level. In the 5th verse, Sri Rupa Goswami explains the different types of devotees. Okay, why it is important? It is important to understand and reciprocate with each one of them accordingly. We want to give respects to senior devotees. We want to listen immediately to the senior devotees. We want to render service to the senior devotees. Whereas if a new person comes in our contact, we want to guide him and we want to be friends with those who are similar, who are at a similar position, so that we can encourage each other, we can learn from each other. So we need to differentiate between the devotees and deal with them according to their status. So one has to have the intelligence to do that, to do both, to distinguish and then to reciprocate accordingly. The sixth verse is going to, sixth verse is going to take the discussion even further, even deeper. Now, sixth verse, Sri Rupa Goswami explains that, okay, you will find pure devotees. You will see devotees in general, but you'll also see very senior devotees, very Uttama adhikaris, very exalted personalities in Krishna consciousness. And then you may find apparent faults in them. You may find seemingly some defects in them. So and so person is not able to speak properly, he doesn't do this properly, do that properly. And how do we understand? Because if you are if you are senior devotees, Uttam Adhikaris, we should be eager to take their association, we should be eager to render service to them, we should be always eager to listen to them, all their instructions. Then we need to have very respectable position in our mind image for them. But if we see some defects and if our mind gets cluttered with some doubts, okay, how can they have defects? How can they have problems? And then we need good understanding of that. So the sixth verse, we clarify that we should ignore the defects in the pure devotees, just like we know that in the muddy season, in the rainy season, sometimes Ganga, water of Ganga, shows some bubbles, shows some mud. But those who have knowledge, they will ignore all that and they will still take baths in the same branches. And knowing fully what the potency that the Ganga water possesses, the potency to purify everything and all our sins. And that comes, the potency in Ganga comes because it touches the feet of the Lord. It originates from the feet of the Lord, and therefore it has that potency. So, ignoring the apparent problems or apparent defects because of whatever the reason, one will still take bath in the river. So, now comes to the seventh verse, where Veda Goswami is going to speak something very significant point that he's going to make, that these devotees will associate with devotees. So if you remember the Shabda, then Sadhu Sangha, and then Bhajana Kriya. We are going to do Bhajana Kriya. If we come in contact with Sadhu, they will they will force you to do Bhajana Kriya. They will indulge you into the hearing and chanting of Krishna and connect you with Krishna in that way. So the Bhajana Kriya, if we have to do, not always we find Bhajana Kriya very palatable, very relishable. Now, Rupa Goswami explains the same point in the seventh verse, that Syata Krishna Nama Charita Adi, Syata Krishna Nama Charita Adi, Sitapya is very sweet, like a sweet candy. Sitapya means sweet. Syata Krishna Nama Charita Adi, Krishna's name and his pastimes, Charitra, his form, his paraphernalia, his activities, his swarupa, his rupa, and his gunas, different qualities. So everything about Krishna is very sweet, sweet like a sitapya. Sitapya is like a sugar candy, or a lot of time it is also considered as a sugar cane, which is extremely sweet. So it is sweet. However, when our tongue is inflicted with jaundice, when we have suffering from disease condition of jaundice, because of the ignorance, because of avidya, api, although avidya, pitta, upatapa, afflicted, rasa, rasanyasa of the tongue, and na rasanyasa na Rasanyasana, kin, kintavada, kintavada vada rida anudina, kintya. Then kintya means basically quiet, adara, carefully, anudinam means every day, khalu saiva jashta. Then he says khalu is naturally that, so that sugar candy is the holy name basically. Sugar candy of the holy name. Eva, certainly. Jushta, taken or chanted. Swadvi, relishable. It becomes relishable. Karma, gradually. Bhavati becomes. Tadgada, of that disease. Mula, of the root. Haranti, the destroyer. So, the holy name, the translation, the holy name, character, pastime, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy or sugar cane. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So, so what Rupa Goswami basically saying that uh, the devotees do complain that the chanting or the hearing, these are, now Rupa Goswami is saying that these are extremely sweet. Now, Nama Japa, he is saying that I should have, thousands of ears, thousands of tongues to glorify Lord, and thousands of ears to hear His glorification. Now, that kind of a taste, Rupa Goswami possesses. But at our level, we may find it not so relishable. Japa, morning, getting up in the morning, sitting in one posture, uh, doing, say, chanting the name. We hear that it has a lot of rasa, or it is extremely sweet, but at our level, we are unable to taste that sweetness. And the Rupa Goswami diagnose our problem, give diagnosis of our problem, is saying that when a person is afflicted with jaundice of avidya, when one is suffering from jaundice, the sweet doesn't taste sweet. In fact, it tastes bitter. And but what is the solution? The solution is keep chewing the same thing, keep taking the same sugar cane, keep chewing the same sugar cane, and eventually jaundice will come out, and it will start tasting sweet. And then the sweetness is when one is able to taste the sweetness of the sugar cane or the sugar sweet candy, then that is the time when one is overcoming the disease condition, one is getting recovered from the disease condition. Now, the sweetness or the happiness that we experience by chanting or hearing Krishna Katha is not available to us. Now, that is not the first source of happiness that we think of when we get bored, so called, when we get tired from work, we come back. Um, what do people do for becoming happy in general? And I'm not talking with reference to devotees, because devotees, all of you are wonderful devotees, so you'll all give great answers. I read Bhagavatam, I chant verses of Bhagavad Gita, but I want you to look around yourself. Um, if you are not surrounded by all pure devotees, pure Vaishnavas, then you will see people, those could be your childhood friends, your own relatives, your own spouses, your own parents, your own brothers, sisters, neighbors, uncles, aunties, grandfathers, grandmothers, whoever they may be. Right? And what do they do for becoming happy when they get tired of doing something? A student, after coming back from exam, typically what do they do? What is their source of happiness? Has anybody noticed anybody trying to be happy by different means? What are the means they use? They want to use. Yes, Anamika.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Yeah, there are various means where people get, seek happiness, like watching TV, watching movies, partying with friends, enjoying with friends, or going out somewhere, maybe to the park or somewhere, or maybe some enjoy in listening to music or by drawing or reading books. Various means are there where we see people enjoy and feel relaxed, relieved.
Okay, yeah,
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Very nice list. People watch TV, people watch movies, watch sports, okay, and yeah, various other things, party, maybe holiday, music, drawing, get into some kind of art, etc. Shankaran Guruji, yes.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, आई एम ऑडिबल? आवाज आ रही है प्रभु जी?
Yes, Guruji, very nice.
प्रभु जी, जैसे कि माता जी ने बोला कि पीपल्स मतलब पब्लिक वगैरह ये अपना जो टीवी वगैरह देख के, ये सब देख के अपने आनंद के लिए वो करते हैं। और प्रभु जी, मैं इसमें मेंशन करना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे जो 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 पब्लिक है, जो लोग है, वो इस सब से भी आनंद नहीं मिलता तो और भी चीजें यूज करते हैं, जस्ट लाइक ट्रैवलिंग और कहीं दूर जाना। जब उससे भी थक जाते हैं, वहां से भी नहीं मिलता, तो वो स्पिरिचुअल पाथ में आते हैं, बट वो कहीं वो अलग जगह फंस जाते हैं, जस्ट लाइक यौगिक क्रिया। जैसे अभी हमारे सदगुरु जी, सदगुरु जो मतलब साधन पाठ में हम प्रचार कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने भी बहुत अच्छा प्रचार कर रहे हैं, बट वो उस लेवल तक नहीं लेके आ पा रहे हैं। तो मतलब उनको बस एक आनंद का अनुभूति कराते हैं योग के माध्यम से। पर योग के लिए अभी हम लोग परफेक्ट नहीं है। और देन आचार्य प्रशांत जी भी इनके लाइव एग्जांपल है। वो भी बहुत अच्छे से मतलब नॉलेज देते हैं, सब कुछ बताते हैं, पर पब्लिक के जीवन को उस लेवल पे, भक्ति के लेवल पे नहीं ला पाते हैं, और उनको वो स्वीकृति नहीं दे पाते। और जैसे कि सदगुरु जी का मैंने एक वीडियो देखा था, उन्होंने बोला था कि मैं आनंद, तो वो अपने योग से माइंड को शांत तो करते हैं कुछ टाइम के लिए, बट प्रभु जी वो उसमें क्या बोलते हैं, वो खुद बोलते हैं कि मैं भगवत गीता नहीं पढ़ा, मतलब वो रेड नहीं की है, मतलब रीड नहीं किया भगवत गीता। तो हाउ कैन वो मतलब कैसे बता सकते हैं कि हमें भक्ति की अनुभूति, आनंद बहुत अच्छे लेवल पे मिल जाएगा? तो प्रभु जी, और दुनिया वाले और बाकी लोग योग के माध्यम से, बाकी जो अष्टांग योग के माध्यम से, यम नियम प्राणायाम के माध्यम से भी आनंद ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बट प्रभु जी वो क्षण क्षण मतलब कुछ देर के लिए रहता है, परमानेंटली नहीं मिल पाता।
Yes. Very nice. So, taking different path of yoga or different spiritual path, people try to become happy as well. But a lot of people go into drugs also. Chandra Mandirji, you want to say something?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी, मुझे लगता है कि आप जितनी कामयाब हो, आपकी इंटेलिजेंस उतनी अलग तरीके की होती है। साधारण आदमी शायद टीवी देख लेगा, कोई स्नैक खा लेगा। अगर आप बहुत वेल्दी हो, बहुत कामयाब हो, तो आप एक ड्रिंक बनाओगे, फिर आप कुछ और, जैसा ड्रग्स आपने बोला, वो उसमें इंटेलिजेंस में जाएगा। सो द लेसर मॉनिटरीली सक्सेसफुल यू आर, यू गेट इनटू वो छोटी खुशियां, मैंने टीवी देख लिया, किसी से बात कर लिया, सोसाइटी के सामने थोड़ा टहल लिया। लेकिन जैसे जैसे पैसे बढ़ जाती है, आपके पास थोड़ा कामयाबी ज्यादा होती है, तो यू गेट इनटू अदर वाइसेस।
Okay, so vices also eventually comes in. And yes, I mean, the nature will change, but they will eventually creep in. Yeah, I think got a sizable list of different things that people do for becoming happy, and most of them will not really think of taking up spiritual path for I want to become happy. So, Bhagavad Gita, a lot of none of them will actually do. Even this time, um, people do immoral things as well. People watch. There's a porn consumption in India is one of the highest. The adult content that gets produced and relayed in India. India is the biggest consumer of that. Because would you want to say something before we start? Move forward?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So,
Yes,
I was.
Chetan Prabhuji say something, and after that we can.
I think Vikas Prabhuji can say, and then I can tell. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Chetan Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So once actually, one of your session only, Vinod Prabhuji said a beautiful line, which became a punch line, that actually everyone is trying to enhance the status of their eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. and in that way they are trying to find happiness. So everyone is actually trying to gratify their senses in one way or other at whatever level he may be. But ultimately, whenever they are trying to find happiness, they are just trying to go for their sense gratification. And that is what I would find incorrect from my side. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes, Chetan Prabhuji and then Nilima Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Basically, the happiness, what is being understood by everyone in this world is that it is material acquisition is the biggest happiness that everybody looks into it. So whatever material acquisition you do, whether it is a property, whether it is a wealth, or whether it is a sense gratification, or whether it is a joyful, so all those things comes under the category of happiness, or the you can say ananda, you can say. But ultimately, the happiness is basically inside out. It is not outside in. So inside, when you are from happy from inside, then you really don't need any reason to be happy. You don't
Okay.
need any basically assets to be happy. The happiness is from inside, and it's up to us that how exactly we are accessing it, or we are sensing that yes, we are already blessed with the millions of blessings we already have. If we only point out towards the deficiency, there are a number of reasons. But if we really see, there are millions of blessings which are already there. If we think about it, then we can be happy at every moment of the life.
Very nice. Certainly. Thank you so much for bringing up that. We've actually done one session on that, in discussion of modes of control nature, and where we took a case study from a boy who is penniless or extremely poor, and how can he still be happy, and how a richest person can also be unhappy. Thank you so much for bringing up that beautiful point. Mili Mataji and then Swapnil Ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think happiness is again age-based. Young people more they find happiness in social media, and again old age people they sometimes find happiness in meeting their old friends, in going to laughter club and all. And likewise, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, the the social media content consumption among old people is the highest.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Today, because they are all the whole
Yes,
day
Prabhuji.
they have nothing
And
else to
even
do, so they are
the
on WhatsApp.
youngest mind, they find solace in happiness in playing games in social media.
Young are there already, but old are not far behind.
Oh,
Okay, thank you so
thank
much
you,
for
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, something like you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I think
You
happiness
need to
is very,
speak to
very
slightly like
subjective.
this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
This
आवाज नहीं आ
better.
रहा?
Yes, this is better.
Prabhuji, I feel happiness is very subjective, and non-devotees they go to, or people go to extreme level for becoming happy. I mean, they cannot define. We cannot particularly define any particular limits for becoming happy, because the ultimate aim of people is to become happy, and that is what is mithya. They think that the happiness lies in the materialistic approach, and whether it is sense gratification, or whether they want to even attain swarg, and they do everything, say that if I want to go to heaven, that will be happiness for them. So real happiness for them is the meaning of real happiness is not available. So whatever is materialistic, I feel they approach towards that, and that is what we cannot particularly list out the name, because it's a unlimited, it's a limitless locations or places these people go for to become happy, to whatever extent.
What they can go
Hare
to
Krishna.
any extent to become. Somebody can the more people have facilities, more perverted the nature of their conception of happiness can become. Like the drugs, taking injections of drugs. Then people in other countries are they feel happiness by pain. And imagine so they cut their bodies or different parts of their bodies in such a way that they experience pain. They want to experience pain to become happy. We used to have a famous Onida television ad. Owners neighbors envy, owner's pride. So when I make others envy, I feel happy. This pride is some sense of happiness and some sense of achievement. So happiness can take any form and shape. The desire to become happiness can take any form and shape. So last comment from Jyoti Mataji, and then we'll move forward.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, these non-devotees, they seek happiness in like material possessions, like acquiring wealth, property, then relationships, happiness in romantic relationships or friendships or family connections, then career success is there, or entertainment or travel or self-improvement, like engaging in personal development activities such as exercise or meditation or some therapy. And also spirituality, like seeking happiness through religious or spiritual practices like prayer or following a particular faith or tradition.
Yeah, brought a very important point of work, because work is work, and all the achievements are associated, connected with the work. Well, could be promotion, could be particular designation, a CEO kind of designation, CFO kind of designation, becoming the head of state, or becoming getting a cabin, getting a corner seat, the same, driving a particular car. These are all signs. These are all symptoms of that what we achieve and how it get translated in my status. That is how people try to show things off, and hope they this is their in their hope to become happy. They do this. So Vishnu Malaki will come back to you later. Maybe we can have one more question that time. You can say. We'll move forward for the time. Sorry for the same. So let's look at how Prabhupada has explained this in our chapter. Essential message of this verse is that the soul by default will search for happiness. If there is a material happiness is available by sense enjoyment, as Vikas Prabhuji said that this is definition coined by Vimal Prabhuji. I don't know if he's there today, but the increasing the quality and quantity of sense gratification of eating, mating, sleeping, defeating is a kind of concept of happiness. People do that all the time. All their efforts, all their energy is invested behind increasing the quality and quantity of eating, mating, sleeping, defending. That's all they can think of. And so this is all this is done through our sense connection. And so it is available by the sense enjoyment. The material happiness is available by sense enjoyment, but the spiritual happiness is available, which we can get by rendering of a devotional service. We become happy spiritually in the spiritual path. We become happy when we serve, when we render devotional service. So it's one is driven by the mentality to enjoy, and the second one is driven by mentality to serve. So more we serve, more we are supposed to become happy. Now we must choose between the one. Unless we have proper information and proper training facility available, we are by default going to choose the material happiness. We are going to choose the material happiness because that is our default mode. So unless we have proper training, proper facility to practice that what we have learned, we will never give it a try to become happy through spiritual means. Now, Prabhupada says in the paper, the holy name of Krishna, his quality, pastime, etc., are very sweet, like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone. However, when someone is attacked by jaundice, the tongue of such a diseased person cannot ultimately relish the sugar candy. Now, the person with jaundice considers something sweet also to be very bitter. Now, this is avidya. Prabhupada says this is avidya or ignorance. Similarly, perverts the ability to relish transcendentally palatable name, quality, form, and pastimes of Krishna. But despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness, what does Krishna consciousness means is defined here by Prabhupada. Krishna consciousness takes to Krishna consciousness, which means we does chanting and hearing. You know, Shravanam, Kirtanam, chanting and hearing of the holy name. And Krishna's transcendental pastime, his ignorance will be destroyed and his tongue unable to taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. Such a recovery of spiritual health is possible only by the regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Regular word is very important here. Not so whatever we do, we should do it regularly with conviction and with commitment both. When we do that, then only the recovery is possible. The Nam job, the Krishna Katha, which right now may not sound to be very palatable or very relishable. You know, we will start relishing it only if we do the basics of Krishna consciousness correctly. We do hearing and chanting with conviction and commitment. Then only we are able to recover from the disease condition. When Prabhupada writes further that when a man in the material world takes more interest in materialistic way of life than in Krishna consciousness, he is considered to be in the disease condition. And we saw why people take more interest in the materialistic way of life, because they don't have proper information about Krishna consciousness and how much happiness we can get in by following Krishna consciousness. How much happiness is there for us to relish if one is unaware of right, don't know that, doesn't have a lot of faith in that. There is no conviction of that. Then one is supposed to accept the material path of seeking happiness. Now, Prabhupada writes further that every disease has some symptoms, and from symptoms, now we need to go to the cause. So, for example, if somebody says that I'm not relishing Krishna consciousness, I have no taste for chanting, I have no taste for reading Bhagavad Gita, I have no desire, don't feel like memorizing verses of Bhagavad Gita, reading chapters, I have no taste for reading Bhagavatam, I have no taste to hear Gaur Katha or read Chaitanya Charitamrita. I have no taste, don't feel, even if I don't go to temple and see beautiful Krishna's form for a month, I feel okay. And if I'm not, even if I don't meet devotees, I don't miss anything. So, so this is not able to relish Krishna consciousness. When there is no relishment in Krishna consciousness, these things will become, we will not miss these things. Whatever we like, we don't want to miss out on that. For example, people like cricket. Now, a lot of people don't miss even one ball. In a 50-over World Cup, there will be some people who have watched each and every ball deliver. They would watch the first inning, which goes on for 50 hours, then the second inning, another 50 hours. They will invest whole day in watching this game because they feel they are able to relish it. So if we were to relish Krishna consciousness, we were to relish again hearing and chanting, reading and hearing and chanting Krishna Katha, then that is, but if they are not able to do that, then they cannot continue with the process of Krishna consciousness for much long time. They will not be able to do it for long time. They will probably be, there will be ups and downs. Someday they will do, someday they will not do. And it will remain very choppy. Their practice remains very choppy. So obviously their avidya doesn't go away because as we saw, it is to be regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. The avidya will go only by regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. And if we are not regular because we are not able to relish, then we will never get cured from the disease condition. We will perpetually remain in disease condition. And in that condition, we will keep searching for happiness everywhere else other than Krishna. So the deeper problem is at a deeper level, it means that there is a misdirection of avidya, ignorance about the right object of love. We don't know where we should direct our love towards. Because this is where we love sports, we love movie stars, we love business tycoons, we love politicians, we love everyone. We will direct our heart towards so many objects of love and we feel unsatisfied everywhere. So this is the problem that the misdirection of heart, the avidya, ignorance comes because of the forgetfulness of our true condition. What is our true condition? What is our real nature? So avidya leads to forgetfulness of our true nature, normal condition, which is to remain an eternal servant of Lord Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nityadasa. Now this is our this is the be not, we say that be a part, be not a part. Be a part, like when there is a fan and there is a blade. The blade is part of the fan. There are various small objects which makes a fan, and the- every small object is supposed to serve the whole plant, the whole fan, whole machine, and they can't enjoy independently. There's no question of enjoying independently, functioning independently. They have to be attached to the original machine. Similarly, we have to be attached to Krishna. And when we are attached with Krishna, when we are loving and serving Krishna, then we experience real happiness. Uh, Prabhupada writes whether that Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha pari pasate maya tare jhupatiya dhari. Very beautiful verse. It comes in the Krishna Chaitanya Chaitamrita, the Krishna bhuliya jiva. When jiva forgets about Krishna, bhoga vancha. What will they do? They will do bhoga vancha. They will then desire. When they forget about Krishna, their real position towards Krishna, their relationship with Krishna. That what is the relationship? Jivera Swarupa Haya Nitya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. Krishnera Nitya Dasa, we are servants of Krishna. We have to serve Krishna. We have to work in such a way to make Krishna happy. Krishna's happiness is goal of my life. When we forget about this aspect, then we replace Krishna with ourselves. We say, my happiness is supreme. I should have more. I should enjoy all this. Now, and then we act with this consciousness. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha. We will, for my enjoyment, I will want to eat. I will want to enjoy. I will want everything in the world to as per my choice. I want everything to work according to my desire. The whole world should function according to my desire. I will want that. If I want to have my way, I will make the whole world dance to my tunes. I will do that. It doesn't happen that way, but this is what a jiva will desire, because now he has replaced Krishna with himself. Now, goal of him is he's forgotten Krishna. He's forgotten his relationship with Krishna. Now he only has himself, and then he wants to make himself happy. So how will we become happy? We think we will become happy by bhoga vancha. The beautiful verse in the 13th chapter, 22nd verse, Purusha Prakriti Sohi Bhunte Prakriti Jamna. They have desire to enjoy the material nature, the bhoga vancha. And what happens then? The moment we cultivate such a desire, what happens? Pasate, very near. Maya is waiting. Maya is waiting very near, very close to us. Just like Krishna and soul, Paramatma and Jivatma, they are sitting inside our heart, very close to each other. But one is looking otherwise, and Krishna is looking at that bird. When will this fellow turn to me? But the bird who is looking, he's forgotten his relationship with Krishna. So he's looking everywhere else other than where Krishna is, where Paramatma is. And Paramatma is patiently waiting, witnessing, Sakshi. He's the Sakshi to all our thoughts, all our desires, all our actions. So he's just taking notes of what's happening. But he's waiting for this jiva to turn to him and ask for help. So this is true. But just like it is true that Krishna is very close to us, but when we forget Krishna, Maya is also equally close to us. Maya Japatiya Dhari. Japatiya is very quickly, it grabs us. It grabs the soul. The moment soul turns his face away from Krishna, he's caught by Maya. Maya is illusion. Maya is making you believe whatever is not true as true. Maya is taking you into a dream kind of condition where you believe in the reality which is false. We believe in a temporary world as real world and start acting there. And how fast it happens, jeopardy are there. Jeopardy indicates with very great speed Maya will catch hold of her new customer who has turned his face away from Krishna and searching for happiness. हाँ ठीक है Krishna है शायद, but let me search what else is there, where else I can become happy, where else I can go and find happiness, and immediately caught by Maya. So Maya is also very close by. And the moment you are not in control of Krishna, you are in control of Maya. There is no other third choice available. So as soon as you forget Krishna, even for a moment, immediately Maya is there. Please, my dear friend, come here. This is how Maya will call us. We don't even have to be called. We only go and fall into her lap. We are so helpless. So for the right side, we all have need for happiness, and we can't live without happiness. If we don't have spiritual happiness, we will turn to material happiness by default. Temptations are very close by. They are either in our heart due to our past indulgences, our colorful past life. Now we all have become wonderful devotees, but in past we have done a lot of things, and a lot of those impressions, those remembrance, memories are still fresh in our heart. So the moment we turn our face away from Krishna, the moment we forget Krishna, we start looking here and there, these temptations will pop up into our heart because we have done those things. And then we get, on top of it, this is not small problem enough. We have people around us, tempting objects. We are all surrounded by various tempting objects, people who are indulging in those activities. So the whole world is a very is not a great place for a devotee who wants to remember Krishna always, because then everyone else will force him to forget Krishna, will try different tricks so that you forget Krishna and you become their customer, you get caught by them. So we fall for bad shelters. What are they? And they let us down. No matter how wealthy we become, no matter how much the sex will give us happiness, so no matter how much we indulge in this act, no matter with whom we indulge in this act, it will all lead to misery, power. People are mad of power. The politicians, the business tycoons, everybody wants to go behind power, and that no, most importantly, the body. We think our body will make us happy, but we will all be let down again and again, because every one of these things are temporary. Every one of these things will not give us happiness, and we will see how they will not give us happiness in short run. In material world, there are ups and downs, and when we are down, we certainly need hope. So we could be down due to our health, we could be down due to our financial condition, we could be down in our relationships. We can have very choppy relationship, very stormy relationship issues we might have. And whenever we are down in whatever could be the reason for that, we need hope. We need to work on, work on certain aspects. If our health is down, we need to make sure that we recover. We do what is necessary to ensure our recovery, and we become healthy again and restore our strength so that we can practice Krishna consciousness nicely. Um, so if we lose our jobs, or if we become financially extremely weak, or some major financial issue comes up, we have to deal with it, because that will occupy a lot of our attention and effort until it gets restored to a certain comfortable level. From then onwards, you can focus on your bhakti. But whenever we are down, we need some hope. We need to do some extra effort to come up. But if we focus all our efforts on improving things materially, then we are misusing, or we are wrongly using our intelligence, and we are wasting our opportunity in this human form of life to become Krishna conscious. The world is like a place with waves. No matter what you do, the waves will come. No matter how much care you take, how much diligently you try to keep your life steady, the place where there are waves, the ups and downs will happen. It's a, it's like it's a chaos and order. Nobody wants chaos, but everybody is trying to put things in order. But the chaos will come, and by default, it will come. In everybody's life, it will come. It's not a question if it will come or not. It's a question when it will come. So it's always going to be there. So waves will come, and no matter how much effort we make, we put in to keep things steady. However, what we must do is, or what we should do is, we should do our best to keep things steady on the material side and focus our energy on making spiritual enhancement, which will give us eternal stability and make us eternally happy. And this is what we should be focusing on. Every now and then there will be some problem will come up. So beyond the point, you can't do much about it, and they will come up because we are in a place where we are in the ocean. Oceans, sometimes ocean may appear to be very calm, but it's just about the time when the waves will come and it will become choppy. It will become wild, it will become stormy. And whenever the storm comes, you need to do your best to keep things afloat, keep making sure that it is floating, and continue with our focus and energy should be directed towards spiritual advancement. So this is what happens at an individual level when a soul forgets Krishna. Now Prabhupada writes further very beautifully that at a collective, at a social level also, we are misled by blind leaders. And Prabhupada gives an example of politicians. And he quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita, Nama Dushkritima Mudha Pratabdante Navadhana Maya Aparata Devam Asuram Bhavanashita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest amongst the mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and those who partake of the atheistic nature of demons do not surrender unto me. 7.15. Now, such people, atheistic people, never surrenders to Krishna, or they oppose anybody who's endeavoring to surrender to Krishna. They oppose such endeavor also. Um, Now, such atheistic people sometimes become leaders of the society. They can become leader of a family. Atheist people become a leader of a favorite political party, favorite cricket match, cricket team, or he can become our boss, or he can become our prime minister, or chief minister, whoever, who has reasonable influence over our life. If such person become atheist person become leader of the society, the whole atmosphere becomes surcharged with dissonance. Ignorance, basically. In such a condition, people do not become very enthusiastic because people, Yadyat Acharati Sreshthas, these people, when they become Sreshthas, they become leaders of the society, people naturally want to follow them. And what do they do? That is what people will do. If they are indulging, if they are running behind money, if our idols, people whom we admire and whom we follow, if they happen to be business tycoons, accumulating more and more money, greed is good if is their philosophy. Naturally, by following such people's emotions, sentiments, we will develop the similar kind of desires. So if we find a movie star who is had many affairs with many women, and he's proudly disclosing all that, eventually, if we happen to be closely following such a person, we will similarly get desires for having a similar activity. So the whole environment get polluted when such people are the leaders, people who are leading the society or heading the society, are atheistic. They will do activities other than Krishna consciousness, and then what the whole atmosphere becomes very difficult to preach to people, to accept Krishna consciousness. So people do not become very enthusiastic to receive this Krishna consciousness movement. It's like they're calling them, but they're saying, come to temple, Prabhu, take darshan. They say, no, I don't have time. I need to go and work for 12 hours every day. When you call people, Prabhu, come and attend our program, Secret of Success, Introduction to Bhagavad Gita. They say, no, I need to go and get this degree. I need to go and meet my girlfriend, meet my boyfriend. I need to take care of my family. I need to do this. I need to do that. They will have 100 reasons why they cannot take up consciousness, because the people at a social level, they're following those people who are atheists, and they have no interest in becoming Krishna conscious themselves, and they want to oppose others who want to become Krishna conscious also. So at a gross level, again, the whole community becomes unenthusiastic be Krishna conscious, to accept Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada writes further that, however, one must know that for jaundice, the sugar candy is the only specific medicine. Similarly, in the present confused state of humanity, Krishna consciousness, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, is the only remedy for settling the world aright. So if you want to fix the world, don't change the leaders, just make them Krishna conscious. And when they become Krishna conscious, the whole society start following them. The prime minister of our country went and sat for the Pran Pratishtha ceremony of Lord Ram personally. He could have delegated it to anyone. But had he been atheistic, he would not have gone. And so when he did this, and then when he openly encouraged it, we saw on the 22nd of January, the whole country was singing Jai Shri Ram. Siyavar Ramchandra ki Jai was not limited to one Ayodhya, was not limited to just North India, where there is Ayodhya, Mathura, and Kashi, and Banaras, and the Prayagraj, and all holy places, Haridwar, Rishikesh, they are there. Ganga is there. It's not limited to there. It was just not limited to there. But every nook and corner of the country was chanting Jai Sri Ram. And that will happen. It would be a blip. If people may forget, people must have gone back to their old ways of doing things. Not all of them decided to become a pure devotee of Lord Ram. But what we saw is, for that moment, the whole day people were God conscious. People were conscious. So, and it happened because it was led by a leader who believed in it. So, the real disease, Prabhupada writes, is in the heart. To cleanse the mind and the heart from the misconception, the one should take to the process of chanting of a Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada writes that it is both easy and beneficial, the chanting of holy name of the Lord. And one is immediately freed from the blazing fire of material existence. So one talks about the Cheto Darpana Marjana verse, and then it says that when one attains the pure stage, he is immediately liberated. This is called Bhavo Mahadavagni Nirvapana. And that Bhavo Mahadavagni is saying that Prabhupada says that the chanting happens at three levels. One is offensive, second is lessening of offense or less offense, and the third is pure stage. But when one chant at pure stage, one is able to chant at pure stage, one is able to experience bhava, the loving affection for Krishna while doing japa. And at that stage, it is called Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. In the Chaitanya Shiksha, the beautiful verse that says that Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. The forest fire, Mahadavagni, it's not a small fire, it's a Maha forest fire. Biggest forest fire can also be extinguished very easily by the chanting of Hare Krishna. Similarly, the blazing fire of material existence can relish the taste of transcendental life. Then Prabhupada talks about the 8th step process of Shraddha to Prema, that with initial faith, we come to Krishna consciousness, we inquire from devotees, and devotees engage us in bhajana kriya, and then when we do hearing, reading, hearing, and chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, reading scriptures, the anartha nivritti happens, and then our faith in the initial Shraddha becomes nishtha. It becomes very strong faith. And then we develop the ruchi or asakti, ruchi and asakti, and the bhava and the prema are the next stages that we experience. Prabhupada writes further that although Maya may be present, it cannot disturb a devotee once he attains the bhava stage. Now, this is because the devotee can see the real position of Maya. Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna, and forgetfulness of Krishna and Krishna consciousness stand side by side like light and shadow. Uh, so if one remains in shadow, very beautifully Prabhupada explains, if one remains in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facilities offered by light. And if one remains in light, he cannot be disturbed by the darkness of shadow. So between shadow and light, shadow is darkness, it's the ignorance, it's the forgetfulness of Krishna. And light is remembrance of Krishna, is being in Krishna consciousness. So as long as you remember Krishna, you continuously, with commitment and conviction, practice Krishna consciousness every day without holiday, without excuses, with great commitment, with great affection, with great love, with great sincerity of our heart, then you will always remain in light. And when you are in light, you are not disturbed by darkness of shadow. As long as Krishna Prabhupada gives the example of the famous verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna, Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakar. Maya is Andhakar. And Krishna is how? Krishna is Surya Sama. Krishna is like sun. And wherever there is a sun, there is no question of shadow. There is no question of Maya being present in. So, Yaha Krishna, Taha Nahi Maya. So wherever there is Krishna, Maya cannot enter there. So going further, let's look at the topic of happiness with a little bit more focus. Now, all of us wants to be happy, and the process of Krishna consciousness is intending to make us happy. So the whole program is designed by Sri Prabhupada in such a way that the devotees experience happiness 24/7. So let's focus on how to become happy in the Krishna consciousness way. So we all have higher and lower taste. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Vishayavini Vartante Niraharasya Dehinu. And Raso Varjam, Rasopyasya Param Drashtvam. Raso Varjam. So there are two types of taste. One is the higher and the lower taste. One is the lower taste could be of sense gratification. And the higher taste will be Krishna consciousness. The higher taste is the happiness we get by connecting with Krishna. Higher taste is the happiness, that happiness we get, which we get by connecting ourselves with Krishna, doing activities in connection with Krishna. And the lower taste is happiness we get by connecting with the worldly things, doing immoral things, sensual things, anti-devotional things, which is like there is a lower taste, and both exist in us simultaneously. For progressing on the path of bhakti, we must give up lower taste and move towards higher taste, which, as we said in the words, that Raso Varjam Rasopyasya Param Drashtvam. And how do we do that? The question is, how do we do that? And for that, we need to understand the nature of material and spiritual happiness in more detail. So let's try and analyze these two concepts. So let's analyze this with concept of time. Time is, we're born, we're small, we grow, we become young, we mature, we become old, and then we leave this body and go to another one. And and during this course of life, we try to enjoy material happiness at different stages. So material happiness in youth, there is some happiness available. Those who enjoy eating, people live to eat. People say we live to drive. People say we live to whatever. Different things, we live to smoke, we live to drink alcohol. People have different objectives of their lives, but live to eat is like commonly found among a lot of people. They just the whole day they are searching for new restaurants and new recipes and new things that they can go and eat at different places, and this is the goal of their life. Wherever they go, they want to find out what's their specialty to eat at this place. So at a youth, when we are young, we have some capacity to experience some happiness, because some happiness is available, because if you're in your youth, you can eat a lot, you can do a lot of things, be it sports, be it going here, going there, doing this, doing that. When our body is young and fresh, it has capacity to do many things. One is actually able to do those things and try and experience some happiness. But as the body grow older, the graph is like this. If you assume the y-axis and the x-axis, then the graph of this happiness is there. It grows a little bit, grows a little bit, increases a little bit in our top of when we are at the top of our youth, and then as we become mature and we dwindle, we become old, it starts reducing, and then it touches the x-axis and becomes zero, and then it goes into the negative zone because as the time progresses in our life, we become 30-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 60, 70-year-old, 80-year-old, our body only produce pain. As the time progresses, we go into the negative zone. The whole body gives us pain. There is no part in our body which we have ability to, we have left with any ability to enjoy. Eyes can't see, ears can't hear properly. The food we may have desire to eat, but the body can't digest, and so it's the whole body starts falling apart and becomes miserable. And we may still have hundreds of desires, but the body is not supporting, which means it's just producing pain as the time progresses. Even in youth, when we want to enjoy, there is a limitation on which how much we can enjoy. If eating is somebody's passion, there is limitation on how much one can eat and how much one can enjoy a particular plate, a particular dish, particular delicacy. So even in youth, in the top of our, when we have the best available body, whatever that age could be, 20, 25, 30, still at that age also our capacity to enjoy is finite, tiny, or very, very little. In contrast to this, the spiritual happiness is is not dependent on age. It's dependence on our purification on our consciousness. So in the beginning, there is little happiness. We all have become devotees recently, maybe 1 year back, 2 year back, some 3, 4, 5 years back, and we may experience peacefulness, happiness whenever we visit temple, we meet devotees, we are doing Nam Sankirtan, we are taking prasad with devotees. And we are generally in the temple environment, in the devotional environment, when we stand in front of Lord, we take darshan, we pay obeisances, we do some seva, do some prasad serving, or we do some flower seva, or do some some other kind of seva. So and we while doing all that, we feel very happy, we experience happiness. But at our current level, the moment we get disconnected from the temple, or disconnected from the seva, disconnected from the devotees, we go back at our home, we start experiencing our old consciousness. Because now we are disconnected from the devotees, from Krishna, we don't feel the same happiness at home when we go back. So the mind start troubling again. So this is what happens at the beginning stage. But as we keep practicing sadhana with conviction and dedication, our attraction towards Krishna increases. And sadhana means Krishna consciousness, means both hearing and chanting both. When we hear about Krishna, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam every day, when we read Bhagavad Gita every day, when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and when we hear from pure devotees, when we hear from those who we admire so much, those pure devotees who have been preaching, and we like to hear from them, we hear from them, and by this reading by our own, by hearing, and by doing japa, by chanting, our attraction towards Krishna goes on increasing. As we do it with more and more conviction and more commitment, more and more sincerity, our attraction towards Krishna will increase, and our desire to serve him will also increase, and that will lead to the increase of our happiness. Now, the happiness comes through the gradual process of purification, and when it comes, it can come in any quantity. the graph of happiness in the spiritual realm is like this. It goes upwards. There is no limit. There's no limit how much we can become. We can experience unlimited happiness with our limited senses also in the present body. With the present body, all our senses have limited capacity to enjoy, but Krishna consciousness happiness we can experience unlimited, infinite happiness we can experience with our limited senses if we get pure, if we allow ourselves to become pure enough and start relishing the process of hearing and chanting. So the beautiful word that again the first verse of Shikshashtakam, where Mahaprabhu says that Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam, the material spiritual happiness Mahaprabhu is describing as Ambudhi, Ambudhi which means ocean. So here the material happiness is like a drop, but spiritual happiness is like an ocean. And this ocean could be of milk, could be of mango juice, could be of orange juice, could be of anything that we relish to, we want to relish and offer it to Krishna. So that could be of honey, could be of ghee, could be of milk ocean. So that spiritual happiness is like that ocean, and this ocean is also ever increasing at every step. Unconceivable. That happiness can increase at every step. Every time we perform Krishna consciousness activities, and happiness it can lead to increase our happiness. This ocean can expand unlimitedly, and at every moment it can do that. It has capacity to do that. So it's up to us how much we are able to apply ourselves to the process of hearing and chanting, and allow ourselves, offer ourselves to get purified, so that our attraction to Krishna increases and we start experiencing the happiness. The few verses in which the happiness, material happiness and spiritual happiness is compared, we'll look at some of those verses as well. Now, this comes in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 37 and 38 verse, where Krishna is speaking about happiness in the mode of goodness and passion. Now, goodness is like spiritual happiness, equivalent of spiritual happiness, or something very close to the spiritual happiness that tastes like a poison at the beginning. Now, why people struggle to be devotee with the beginning of their devotional life or devotional, when they become devotees, initially they may be very enthusiastic, but the phase comes when they don't enjoy the hearing and chanting at all. So that is like a poison. The spiritual happiness is like a poison at the beginning. Doing 16 rounds becomes a laborer's job. When one feels bogged down by this, that how can I waste my 2 hours in doing japa? Can I not do something better? So it's like a poison at the beginning, spiritual happiness, but the nectar at the end, towards the end. And the nectar is unlimited, ever-growing nectar. So the phase of the poison phase will come in all of our devotional life. When we become devotee, when we start practicing Krishna consciousness, there will come a stage when we will not like Krishna consciousness. We will think, match dekh lete hain, movie jaate hain, dating karte hain, we'll go to foreign holidays where there is no Krishna. Let's go to a holiday where let's try to forget Krishna for some time and enjoy the world as is. So those desires will keep coming. And if we are in strong devotee association, we will be able to cross over those desires. We will have to penetrate through the phase of poison to reach the nectar stage. When we penetrate enough from poison to nectar, when we touch nectar, when we break through from poison into the nectar, from then onwards, our journey is very easy because the nectar is limited nectar that is available. We will never then give up consciousness. Whereas, contrast to this, the material happiness is very nectarian at the beginning, but it's a poison at the end. The body has the anything, the alcohol, the person become alcoholic because alcohol gives him some nectar, some happiness at the beginning. the smokers, the druggists, the drug addicts accept take drugs because they find some nectar, some happiness by indulging in those actions. And after a while, obviously it becomes poison because alcohol, the alcoholic person is not consuming alcohol, the alcohol is consuming him. Now he cannot live without consumption of alcohol. A drug addict cannot live without consumption of drugs. Their their happiness completely become dependent on if they have had drugs or not. And after that also they can increase in the dosage because if you keep the same dosage, it doesn't give them the kick anymore. So they keep increasing the dosage and they reach a stage of complete breakdown. And so it's a poison, it's guaranteed. Be it anything, be it eating, be it mating with opposite sex. So you will contact with number of diseases. So it will in no time that happiness, the immediate happiness can turn into poison in no time. So this is the condition of material happiness and spiritual happiness. Now let's understand them from the availability of eternity and temporary. Now, if we know that the material happiness that we get is we are looking at the two verses. One is 5.22, famous verse. Yohi yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukha yomaya evate. Adya anta vanta pantaya noteshu ramita vidha. Adya anta vanta pantaya means it has a beginning and it has an end. So anything that we try to enjoy at a material level will have a beginning and will have end. Why? Because our senses are temporary. Our senses, we have been given this particular body. This body is we are fitted with there are just like car comes with some some accessory. We all have come with the fitted accessories. So these ears are available to me right from my birth. The same nose I'm carrying, the same tongue I'm carrying since I was born. The eyes are the same, the skin is the same. No, so we are fitted with these accessories, and these senses will be lost when I will change my body at the end of my lifetime. So my senses are temporary. Plus my ability to hear also is temporary. My ability to speak is temporary. So karmendriya and gyanendriya, they will also not necessarily work till the last. They may not work. They may stop working anytime. So my senses are temporary. I may stop hearing. I may stop. My ability to speak might get hampered. My touch sensation may go. My smell sensation may go. So my senses are temporary. And what about sense objects? Now, those are also temporary. I might want to have a sex with my opposite sex, but that opposite sex will also have a temporary body. She may also die. She may also go. So the sense and the sense object, everything is temporary. Be it food, be it the place I want to own. Now everything is temporary. So and the one is approaching the senses and the sense object. The relationship, what is the relationship? The relationship is the desire to enjoy. Now, this is going to give us a temporary sukha. Even if some sukha is great, one may experience some happiness, but that happiness is also temporary because the foundation of the activity is all temporary. And in contrast to this, the 6.28 verse where Krishna says, comes in the Dhyana Yoga chapter, Yunjanaiva Siddhatmanam Yogi Vigata Palmashahan Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham Atyantam Sukhanashrute. Atyantam Sukhanashrute. Sukha is what is the quality of Sukha? Atyantam Sukha. Atyanta is the best kind of Sukha. Sukha is happiness. So that comes from the contact of the Brahma Samsparsha. Krishna says the Arjuna refers to Krishna as Parabrahma in the 10th chapter. So Krishna is Parabrahma, and soul is so Brahma is also eternal living entity. So the soul, by the contact of the soul and Krishna, Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham, that when that contact happens between soul and Krishna, from that contact, from that connection, one experience sukha. And what kind of a sukha? Atyantam sukha. Extremely high quality and a large quantity of a sukha one can experience by connecting soul with Krishna. So why soul gets connected with Krishna? In what capacity? It gets connected with Krishna in the capacity desire, with a desire to serve Krishna. In contrast to when the senses are connected with the sense object, they have desire to enjoy. Whereas when soul gets connected with Krishna, they have desire to serve, render service, not to give pleasure, not to gain pleasure. And because soul is eternal, Krishna is eternal, the pleasure, the happiness that they can experience is also eternal. So from the timeline perspective, the senses and the sense object, no matter what sense object we choose, be person, be it something that we need to eat, be it something that we need to own, be it something subtle like respect, like kirti, like fame, like knowledge, all are temporary because knowledge today gets changed tomorrow. And the fame today can become infamy tomorrow. So the respect today can turn into disrespect tomorrow. So none of those things that we aspire for, we made a list of various things. None of those things can give us eternal happiness. And the happiness that we get is extremely short-lived. Whatever we get, that is also that is gone before we can hold on to it. It's like gone. Is referred to it as Chapala Sukha. Chapala Sukha means flickering happiness. The beautiful Vaishnava bhajan, what it says that Bhaja Hure Nam Srinanda Nandanam. In that there's another one verse that comes where he says that Chapala Sukha Nadala. And that comes in the relationships like Edhana. So yeah. So this anything where we try to gain happiness, where we try to become happy in the material way without Krishna, will give us some happiness, but it will be temporary. Whereas when soul connects with Krishna with a desire to serve, it can experience unlimited happiness, eternal happiness. So this is the nature. So let's sing our way to happiness. So what is the speciality of the spiritual happiness? What are the characteristics of that spiritual happiness? So spiritual happiness is very, very special. First characteristic is very special. There are many characteristics, we just listed 4. The first characteristic is very special, and it is special because it is only available to human beings. And amongst human beings also, there are 4 lakh species of human beings. This is not everyone is able to access this. Only fortunate ones can and does have access to the Krishna consciousness process. They can come in contact with devotees. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7.3, 7th chapter, 3rd verse, that Manushanam Sanstreshu, out of thousands of men, one may try to know me in truth. And another Chaitanya Charitamrita verse, famous verse that where Mahaprabhu says that that one gets Krishna, Bhaktilata Bij, one gets Bhaktilata Bij only with the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Brahmande, Brahmito, Kono, Bhagavana Jivas. But there are all these unlimited jivas, or the jivas are wandering in the entire Brahmanda. And they are changing bodies, from a human to animal to demigod to again animal, insects, fish, tree, plants, and then again human. So there are many species of life. Everyone is going through different species of life. And out of them, only Bhagyavan, only one who is extremely fortunate one, get in contact with the devotees, and they get a Bhakti Lata Bij. Bhagyavan, Bhagyavan Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasad by Bhakti Lata Beach. I mean, that great fortune one gets Bhakti Lata Beach. So it is very special. It is very, very rare for anybody to become a devotee. Is very rare. So it's very special. It's increasing. We saw how it is increasing. That spiritual happiness increases as we experience more. Material happiness, on the contrast, reduces. It comes at a cost of someone's expense. So if there is gulab jamun and I want to eat gulab jamun, and if there are 10 gulab jamuns and 5 people, then each person can get maximum 2 gulab jamuns. But if I eat 4, there will be somebody who may not get to the gulab jamuns, or one may not get any gulab jamun at all. So, so it comes at a cost of someone's. Whereas the spiritual happiness is ever increasing. Anandam Ambudhi Vardhanam Prachipadam, we discuss that part. But it increases more. So as our attraction grows towards Krishna, our desire to serve him also increases. And there's no limit to how much we can love Krishna. There's no limit to how much we can serve Krishna. So both, because Krishna is unlimited, infinite, we can go on loving him for millions and millions of years and we still not be done with it. And we will go on serving him for millions and millions of years and we'll still not be done with it. We will still have something left to be done. So, so it's limitless, and that's why the joy that we experience by connecting with Krishna is also limitless. It's increasing. So the joy in the spiritual path, the Krishna consciousness that one experience is increasing. It's not dependent. The material happiness has a lot of dependencies. Suppose if I like cricket, then I become happy if there's a famous cricket match, World Cup final going to happen. Now, I may like cricket, but I also want Team India to win, to be happy. So when Team Australia won the World Cup, even though it was my favorite sport, I had all the time. It was Sunday when the final took place. I had all the time to watch. It did not give me happiness at all because my favorite team lost. So my happiness is dependent on things which are not in my control. Now, who will win, who will lose is not in my control. Even if somebody says that no matter which team win, I only watch game for the sake of it. I don't care. Whichever team win, I will enjoy. But there also there is a dependency because for watching the game, one has to go to the stadium. One has to purchase the ticket and go to the stadium and watch it. Or if one is watching it at home on the television, then one should possess a television. There should be direct telecast of that match which is happening, and there should be technology available. There should be electricity available. So many things are basis which it depends whether I am able to enjoy that happiness or not. Now, this is the nature. We can expand this to anything that we want to enjoy at a material level. But whereas spiritual happiness is not dependent on anything, not dependent, not independent. It's not dependent on outside world. It's like Chetan Prabhu described that if you can become happy, like Prabhupada, when he was in Vrindavan, he was happy. When he went to America, there also he was happy because he can remember Krishna anytime, anywhere. The remembrance of Krishna is not dependent on my surrounding. I could be in Vrindavan, I could be in Delhi, I could be in Mumbai, or I could be in New York or Los Angeles. I can remember Krishna, it's in my control. And that the moment I remember Krishna, I get connected with Krishna and I experience happiness. So my happiness is not dependent on external world. It's just dependent on my own consciousness. The world we cannot control, but our consciousness we can control. We should be able to control. We are soul. We have intelligence. We have mind. And since I am independent of these two, I should be able to control these two. So, and the last is generous. When you taste happiness in Krishna consciousness, you don't want to limit it only with yourself. every devotee wants to share the joy of Krishna consciousness that he experiencing. He is experiencing because of somebody else's mercy, and he wants others to experience it as well. So immediately he will go on distribution. Immediately he will go out and do Sankirtan, participate in Sankirtan on the street Harinam, where he will chant loudly and dance in the Kirtan. And looking at him, people will get attracted and come to Krishna consciousness. He will arrange for prasadam feast where he will feed all the, or he invite all non-devotees and feed them with prasad. Get them connected to Krishna somehow or anyhow. Jena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshate. And that is how the Krishna consciousness is shared with others. So it is generous. So those devotees who experience taste in the Krishna consciousness, experience happiness in Krishna consciousness, they are generous. They want to share it with everyone. They just don't want to limit it with themselves. The material happiness is the lost cause. If one is still still wants to hold on to the to becoming happy materially, then it's not a very great idea, because it's a recipe for failure. It's a recipe for failure. It's a guaranteed failure. Why so? Let's look at that in this example. Now, we wanted to show a object that you can eat, and we choose Rasagulla. So Rasagulla prasadam offered to Jagannath has different potencies, but assume it to be a normal Rasgulla, and I have a desire to eat those Rasagullas. I know that there is a feast arranged where these Rasgullas will be available, and I should be able to eat a lot of them. And I'm anticipating that feast. When will that feast be arranged? When will that feast be announced? And I'm looking forward to that day on the feast when I will go there and enjoy these Rasgullas. Now, the whole anticipation is building on my desire that I want to go and eat a lot of Rasgullas. I want to enjoy Rasgullas. Now, suppose we go to that feast and realize that for last moment there was some change in the menu, and then they never prepared Rasgullas. My heart gets broken, because I've been waiting for this day for so long because I wanted to eat those Rasgullas. I've been dreaming. Those Rasgullas came in my dream that I know that will be so soft and be so tender. The color will be perfect, shape will be perfect, taste will be perfect, smell will be perfect, and I will just keep go on eating. Then one after another, maybe hundreds of those Rasgullas I wanted to eat on that day, and I come to the feast and I realize there's no Rasgulla. It heartbroken. So at times, we anticipate some happiness to be there and it doesn't exist, and then we get disappointed. Sometimes we find it is there. Sometimes we may go to the feast on the day. We've been building on to that anticipation that I'll go to this feast where there will be Rasgullas. Such a best Rasgullas in the whole world will be available to me to relish, enjoy as many as I want and whatever. And then when I go to the feast, I find the first example we saw that there is no Rasgulla at all, and it breaks my heart. Second example, second case can be, there could be examples, there could be Rasgullas, but the cook has messed things up completely. Cook has done some goof up, and the Rasgullas are all over the place. They're not looking good, they're not smelling good. Doesn't seems to be tasting that very hard or too soft, too liquidy, or whatever it is. It's completely not as per my expectation, not what I had imagined, and it again breaks my heart. Now in the first case there was no Rasgulla at all, so I was completely shattered, heartbroken. In the second case there are Rasgullas, but they are not meeting my expectation. Again, I'm disappointed. In the third case, the Rasgullas are there. They're also as per my expectation. And I go on eating them, and I eat 2 and 3 and 4, then I can't eat fifth one because my capacity to eat Rasgullas only get exhausted. Rasgullas get exhausted. They are there, and so many people are hunting for these Rasgullas. They come running, I just take one or two, and then by the time I go there for taking third serving, they're gone. Everyone they're finished. So either my capacity to enjoy can get over, or the object which I'm trying to enjoy, that itself can get over. So think of any material enjoyment that we may be wanting to do. One of these three things will if we want India to win, India cannot perpetually win. So when India will lose, we will get disappointed. When we when we think our marriage or the relationship will give us happiness, no relationship can permanently give you happiness. At a material level, people get related with each other with expectations. When expectations are not met, there are problems happening in every relationship. Even a mother-child relationship beyond infant stage is dependent on expectation. And whenever those expectations are not met, there's a mismatch in expectation and what one get, the problem starts in the relationship. The TV, whatever, I'm just looking at the list of all the activities that we've listed, that where we indulge, where people indulge for searching happiness, the television, how much TV we can watch. Our capacity only to watch get exhausted. Somebody watch television for some television for non-stop say more than 72 hours, and then he was admitted into ICU. He had to be admitted into an ICU. Such a mental state, that traumatic state that he reduced himself to. Movie gets over, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. It will get over, and if you watch the same movie again and again, after fourth time, you will not want to watch it fifth time. So the party culture, every party is where people try to show how they're better off than others. If I attend a party where 100 people are there, I will throw a party where I call it 20 people, 150 people, to show how great I am, how great I am. Or every party, the people, the modern parties where there is inevitable one ingredient is alcohol and smoke, and then all kind of rubbish talk that will happen. It will often lead to disturb the relationship that you had before the party. So after the party, your relationship will become weaker only. So it's not going to strengthen the relationships. And even if you assume those to be a good parties, good family gatherings, often they are reduced to big bashing. Not really, doesn't really result into increasing our bonds with each other as a family member, because those people come there again with their expectation. And as I said, even a mother-child relationship beyond infant stage of the child is based on expectation. But mother wants child to do certain things, and when the child doesn't do it, there will be problems in that relationship too. So we have to speak of other relationships. Holidays, we can't perpetually go on holiday. We've had to come back and then face the reality. So again, it gets over very, very quickly before we realize it started. Getting hobbies, music, listening to the music, doing what we like to do. Again, we can't do that perpetually, and even if we do it, eventually we will get bored, because it has no nectar. It cannot produce nectar because there's a Krishna involved in it. Sports, we spoke about traveling, yoga. Shankara himself described that very beautifully. That all of these can give us some happiness, some temporary joy, but eventually it will become boring. Yoga, nobody can empty their mind by yogic posture. Mind will produce desires, mind will produce thoughts. That is its job, that is its function. So as long as those thoughts are there, those desires are there, you will have impetus to act. You will want to act, and then when you act, you will produce reactions, responses, and so mind will never be peaceful. Mind will never allow yourself to be peaceful. So this is the nature of happiness. Anybody can think of any happiness which will not meet one of these three criteria. They can think of that. We can discuss that later after the session. But all the material pleasures that we think of will fit into one of these three criteria, which means that it will make us unhappy eventually. The process to access spiritual happiness is based on these two pillars. One is conviction, and second is commitment. Now, the conviction comes from reading scriptures, from hearing Krishna Katha, from experiencing personally experiencing some joy of Krishna connection. And Pratyakshat avagamam dharmyam susukham prantamavayam. And when you personally get experience of happiness in the Krishna consciousness, it is not described, it is personally felt, it is personally experienced, then that gives us conviction. For that, we have to remember those moments when we experience joy in Krishna consciousness. Those moments when we experience, when we were singing, sitting in Gada Hall, sitting in some hall, and sitting with devotees and singing, somebody was singing beautiful tune of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and all of us were following him. There were kathas that were played, the mridanga was played, the harmonium was played, somebody was playing on flute, and I felt that kirtan should go on and on forever. It should never stop. And then it's like that we sang for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then some devotees stood up and then started dancing. So Matajis were dancing in one corner, the Gurus were dancing in another corner, and that dancing went on, and the singing and dancing and everything was so joyful. I felt it should never get over. Now, all of us should have experienced similar moments in our Krishna consciousness when we were like floating in the ocean of happiness, ocean of bliss, and many of those moments we should remember, we should note down, and we should cherish those memories. They will give us conviction that yes, whatever the Acharya says, that there is joy in Krishna consciousness also. There is happiness that we can experience by serving Krishna also. There is a happiness we can experience by when we come in contact with Krishna. It is reality. When we experience by through such experiences, we can perceive that that what is said in the scripture is a reality. And when we experience it often in the association of devotees, those moments give us conviction. They increase our faith. So, with those moments, when we again go back to Krishna consciousness, our basics of reading and chanting and hearing Krishna Katha, those moments of conviction gives us the impetus to continue with the sadhana. With that conviction, when we perform japa, when we chant our rounds, when we sit down to chant our rounds, when we sit down to read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we sit down to read Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we are getting connected with Krishna, we are establishing the contact with Krishna. And with that, we start relishing our attraction towards Krishna grows, and we start relishing Krishna consciousness. We start relishing our connection with Krishna. So that conviction work as an engine for our sadhana. And with that conviction, we come to commitment. When we have got some conviction, when we got some experience of joy in Krishna consciousness, we are able to practice spiritual life, our sadhana of hearing and chanting and reading with great commitment. When we are unable to experience Krishna joy in Krishna consciousness, then our practice, our sadhana remains choppy. We struggle to get up early in the morning. Prabhupada was asked once that which one thing that you fear that can let your devotees down, lead your devotees downfall. And a lot of people expected him to say the principles, or the 4 regulatory principles. If somebody break that, it will lead to their downfall. But what Prabhupada said was very surprising, was very astonishing. Prabhupada said, if my devotees are unable to get up early in the morning, I will consider that to be a very, very strong warning signal that they will eventually fall down. Because if I'm unable to get up early in the morning, I don't have enough motivation to get up early in the morning. Also, for the purpose of sadhana, for the purpose of doing my japa, 2 rounds of japa, reading 5 pages of Bhagavatam, 5 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, hearing to some nice session from my favorite speaker. If I'm unable to do all that or offer bhoga to Lord Krishna, Krishna likes to eat milk or milk-based products early in the morning. We see that in the Damodar Lila, Krishna was furious because he was not given attention. Krishna wanted our attention. Krishna wanted milk, and Krishna wanted us to offer him milk with great attention. So Krishna is also wants our attention. So if you are unable to do all that, then if that we can do by getting up early in the morning, we can offer him milk at 8 a.m. And if we don't have enough motivation to get up early in the morning also, Prabhupada said such a devotee, it's only a matter of time that such devotee will fall down, they will go away from the consciousness. So the commitment, the conviction should lead to commitment in practice of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness practice is nothing but hearing and chanting and serving Krishna. So if we do that with commitment, or spiritual sadhana with commitment, then we get our bond with Krishna increases, becomes stronger and stronger. Our attraction with Krishna increases, becomes greater and greater. And when we get more attracted towards Krishna, our bond with Krishna becomes stronger, when we get connected with Krishna more, we experience unlimited happiness. Because Krishna is ocean of happiness. Krishna is that ocean of happiness, and we get access to that ocean of happiness. But right now we are at the periphery. We are outside. We are not even close to the banks. So imagine what can be our situation when we touch the waters. So we should all aspire for that, look forward to that. And for that, we should take Sangha, devotee association, those who are already experiencing some joy. Those who are already experiencing some taste in chanting, we should talk to them about chanting. We should hear from them glorification of chanting. We should hear from them what they do to chant every day now and how they chant their names. And we should not just ask, we should implement in our life to the best of our capacity and ability, so that we also start experiencing how they experiencing joy of chanting. Somebody could be expert in reading Shastra. We have a read Bhagavad Gita group and read Srimad Bhagavatam group, where many devotees are now putting wonderful comments. Bhagavatam is nectaria, but if I don't experience it myself, then how will I share it with others? So all those devotees are requested to put into the group some comments about what they liked about the Bhagavatam that they read. And when they started doing it, the whole discussion thread in that group become extremely nectarian. And Dayamai Mataji, Stanley, she's such a wonderful, such a senior devotee. She's Stanley agreed to give comments on those. On those, she's been giving comments on those comments put in by the devotees, so that devotees learn more. So that devotees, so the taste for reading also develops in them. The same taste that the other devotees are having, the same taste for reading is developed in us as well. So like that, use association to develop the connection with Krishna and then take our connection deeper. To summarize, we all want to be happy. And unless we find happiness in spiritual practice, we'll search for it in the material world. And the material happiness is temporary versus eternal spiritual happiness. Material happiness cannot really be enjoyed due to our limitations. But material happiness may taste like a nectar at the beginning, but it will become poison in no time. Contrast to that, spiritual happiness may taste like a poison at the beginning, but it will become nectar eventually. And we need to practice sadhana with conviction and commitment so that we increase our attraction to Krishna and experience spiritual joy by His grace. So opportunities for hearing and chanting. We are a japa session in the morning and hearing session of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita in the evening, 8:30 to 9:50, and morning japa from 4:45 to 7:30. All of you are requested to attend both of these. We'll break for some questions if we have any, or we can conclude today's session.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for wonderfully actually highlighting on these 2 points, two aspects that we often, at least I can talk about myself, often misunderstand the materialistic happiness and the spiritual happiness. And that has been very in detail have been explained by you, and was such relishable, means each and every point is the nectar of that. In between, you mentioned one point that at times it so happened that when you were mentioning the spiritual the path of spirituality is the poison in the beginning, but the nectar in the end. And in between that one point comes wherein we feel some kind of stagnation and the kind of the taste towards that particular activities, particular spiritual activities reduces. So I eventually understand that in that particular moment of time, the guidance of devotees and association of devotees is of immense importance. But what can be done from our side when we see uh, that there is a kind of stagnation coming in that, and how we can overcome it once we are not means very frequently getting that kind of guidance and association of devotees. Like this may demand some instant action, and we might not be, means the devotees are not accessible at that particular urgency of time, though they are available on the phone, but the expression that all the expressions cannot be made out in the full on these digital communications. So what should be our actually action in at that particular moment of time, Prabhuji?
So
Hare Krishna.
sometimes, yeah, Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the nice question. And, so basically, sometimes we ask if we are unable to chant 16 rounds attentively, should we reduce our rounds? We say maybe 14 or 12 or 10. And will that really help? Will quality come just by reducing the round? And so we saw two aspects of conviction and commitment. If we are convinced, we should stay committed. What it means is that no matter what happens, if we're committed for quantity, for example, if we're committed to round chant 16 rounds, and then we have two choices. We can chant 16 good, attentive, quality rounds, or at times we can chant 16 rounds. Maybe 10 of them are very nice. Two of them are done while doing this thing, that thing, and for some of them are done while in a kind of sleepy stage, or some of them are kind of done in a very inattentive stage while traveling, while doing this, doing that. There could be a 16. We've achieved the number 16, but it's a combination of it's not pure 16 attentive rounds. It's a mixture of multiple things, or maybe few attentive and few unattentive. Should we then, what should we do then? So the way we look at it is that we should look at it is one way of looking at it is that let's stay committed to the count. Let's stay committed to the number 16 from the japa point of view, and it could be, you can interpret it as a certain number of pages from the reading point of view as well. But stay from the japa point of view. Let's stay committed to our number 16. And now we have two choices. One is to do all 16 great rounds, or doing it in this mixed way. Now, doing this in mixed way is better than doing it in a lesser way. or a lesser round. Doing lesser round is not a choice. It is better if we stay committed to our commitment that I will, no matter what happens, I will chant 16 rounds. Now, at times they will be of good quality, some of them are not of good quality. However, by little intelligence also we can understand that if you have to chant 16 rounds, we have to minimum invest about 2 hours of our time from the day. So out of say 24 hours, we have 2 hours we'll have to invest in the japa. Now that's commitment that even if it is bad chanting, I will still complete 16 rounds is an impetus for us to improve the quality of our chant. That look at it this way, that anyway I'm going to spend 2 hours holding this bill back. So if I do that holding the bill back, I might as well try and chant in the way that so that I can relish these 2 hours. I can enjoy these 2 hours of association with Krishna. So and so that is a great motivation for me to improve the quality. So quality can come in two ways. One by mercy of Krishna, that has to be there. But for that, I have to be diligent also. So my diligence and then dependence. My diligence point of view, it is easy for me to then motivate. If I'm committed to the quantity, then it is easy for me to motivate myself that I'm going to anyway spend 2 hours in doing japa. So might as well try and do it as I've been told to do. To the best of my ability, and I will still have ups and downs. I will still someday I will not be able to do that properly, but let me still stay committed to the quantity. Let me not compromise on the quantity. If I come below 16, I start doing say 8 and 10 and 12, then we will compromise on the quality, and those 16, 12, those 10 rounds also will be of bad quality. We cannot guarantee 10 good quality rounds there also. So it's better to stay committed to the quantity at times than worry about the quality. Quality will come by our endeavor, quality will come by our mercy, both. And our endeavor to stay committed to our count, whatever commitment that we have given, is a great motivation for us to improve quality. Eventually, we'll require some mercy, but our endeavor will happen better if I'm convinced that I'm anyway going to spend those 2 hours. So might as well spend those 2 hours meaningfully rather than getting bored for those 2 hours for the rest of my life. So that itself act like a motivator for me to improve quality. Secondly, same goes for reading. So I'm hoping that this will address the question. So this is what we can do from our end. And of course, we can take devotee association, we can ask the devotees, seek guidance from them, and they may come up with some ideas, knowing us, and we can try those things as well. But this is how, staying committed to quantity, this quantity commitment also act like a motivator for us.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for that great elaboration on the point. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jyoti Mataji, and then Satyaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I have a question like amidst the powerful influence of Maya's distractions, how can I strengthen my focus on Krishna consciousness and deepen my spiritual connection with Krishna? Because whenever I hear about our Acharya, so I can't even imagine that I am even doing 1% of bhakti. So I sometimes really wonder that how it was possible for them to be completely focused in Krishna consciousness. And I'm really like, I'm unable to understand that whether the bhakti what I'm doing my chanting and also reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, but whether there are sometimes that I feel that okay, I'm getting lesser attraction towards material things, but is it really I'm progressing, or it is kind of like I'm suppressing my emotions and doing so? I'm really not understanding that whether I'm doing my bhakti properly or not. To kind, please enlighten me, Prabhuji. Like, what I
yeah.
should do.
So thanks, Natalie, for this question. So it's a common, can be a common, we can expand it to in general questions that when we are trying to practice Krishna consciousness, are we suppressing our material desires or we are cultivating new likings for Krishna consciousness? So it's both. At times, it's a both. Why? Because the material desires, the material inclinations are not going to disappear immediately because they've been there with us for millions of births. It's not just from yesterday. And today we got some exposure to Krishna consciousness. Maybe we would have had similar exposure in our previous births also. That's why we got some connection instantly at this age. But whatever practices we must have had done, those probably remain incomplete. So we come again. Now, so there will be a combination of both in us. There will be material inclinations that will be there because we've had those experiences. So they are not going to go away. But using our intelligence and using our conviction about the philosophy that we're learning and using our spiritual experiences that we relish in the Krishna consciousness, the moment of joy that we have relished in Krishna consciousness. Using these, we need to initially suppress our material inclinations and replace them with the spiritual impressions. Replace them with spiritual knowledge. And more often, if we do that, we are able to then just remember. So yeah, so it's really work parallelly because it's not going to happen that on one day we will wake up and we will have no material desires left in us. It's never going to happen. So we need to apply our intelligence to suppress those material inclinations and and replace them with spiritual impressions. Now, this typically fight happens between inside our mind at 2-3 levels, and at 4 levels maybe. So initially there could be a helpless defeat. We may experience helpless defeat. Helpless defeat means material inclination or desire comes up and we immediately fall for it without any fight. The second stage, better than that, is a stage where a material desire comes up and our spiritual conviction also comes up that I should do this, I should not be doing this. And that comes if we have read enough, if we are reading daily, if we are reading, if we are hearing daily, if we are reading daily, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. If we actually do that daily, then we will have a lot of handy arguments why we should do what the mind is proposing. The mind may come up with a nasty proposal, and I will have sufficient defense readily available with me, ammunition available with me to fight with this desire. Now there will be a battle inside us, and with that battle, sometimes we may lose also. So first is helpless defeat. Second is there is a battle and still there is a defeat. But you have not helplessly been defeated, you fought your way. Just like Ajamil, when he saw that he saw in the jungle that the embrace of this woman with her lover, it's not that instantly he fell in love with this woman and wanted to marry. He had all the knowledge and he fought hard with this desire, which was popping up in his head. But he got defeated. So there was a fight. He applied all his knowledge, all his whatever he knew of Shastra in line. He applied that, but he got defeated because sometimes the desire will overpower our convictions, our knowledge as well. Tadasya harati prajna vayur navam imam hasi. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that just like a boat is carried away by the wind on the water. Similarly, sometimes our intelligence is kidnapped, abducted by the desires which comes from the mind. So the first stage is helpless defeat. Second stage is fight but defeat. Third stage is improvement of that. Then you will have a fight and you will win. You will be able to suppress those desires. So this is a fight and victory. And the fourth one is effortless victory. Now we will, if you can name any material desire that's popping up into your head, you will be able to place them in one of these four buckets. That at times we give it up helplessly. Sometimes we fight and we win. Sometimes we fight and we lose. And sometimes we are able to win helpless, easily, very easily. Take for example, just hold on. So we may be in one of these stage. So take for example, meat eating. We may have earlier done that, meat eating or alcohol, cigarettes. We could be in the initial stage, if one has done meat eating all his life, for them it could be stage one, where anybody offer us meat, we have heard it's not, we should not consume meat. Meat thing is against the regulatory principle. So we should not be eating meat, but and we go to a place where with the conviction that we're telling our mind, I'll not eat meat, I'll not eat meat, I'll not eat meat. And the first person, one of our childhood friend comes with a dish or whatever they offer us, and we just fall for it, we eat it. So it's a helpless defeat. But with years of practice, we may today experience helpless victory, easy victory. So from 4, we may move to 1. And that can be the case with many other desires, many other temptations for which are troubling us. So they will be in one of these 4 categories. And as we put more desires in the top 2 categories, at least top categories or top 2 categories, more we are progressing in the consciousness. And this it's not a business of saying no to everything. It's a it's a rasa and it's a rejecting lower rasa by experiencing higher rasa. If you don't do the second part, that experiencing higher rasa, if you don't do that, then saying no to lower rasas perpetually becomes impossible. So at times, then eventually we'll say yes to those lower rasas also, because you have still not got the higher taste. So it's important that for us to do what we are supposed to do daily. We're supposed to chant daily, attentively, as much attentively as we can, and we should be committed to our rounds within 60, and we should read daily. We should associate with Prabhupada daily. We should hear from our favorite speakers daily. If we do that, we're getting a lot of animation, a lot of inclination to fight with this lower desire. We're getting a lot of spiritual impressions, which will help us replace these lower desires with a higher taste. So we are experiencing a lot of higher taste in doing that. And with that, we are able to replace, is no to the lower desires very easily. But if you stop doing this part, then you are helplessly submitting yourself to the lower desires. So this is how we can understand this. I can understand this. I can explain, but we can discuss this more if you wish to.
Yes, Prabhuji, I understood. So what I understood is that the emotions will keep on coming. So, but we need to be firm in our bhakti and we need to read every day, so that once we are matured in knowledge wise, so at that time we will be able to understand these emotions, and at that time we can neglect those, and we can move forward with our spiritual path.
Yes, Amriti. And it's like a light and shadow example we used in the previous one of the slides. That if you're in light, the shadows will not trouble you. But it's not that shadows will not be there at all. The shadow could be next to you, but it's not going to trouble you as long as you're in light. So as long as you're reading, as long as you're you need to relish your reading also. That's why we started in the Bhagavatam group that you share what you're reading. If you are unable to relish what you're reading, if it's like if I like something, I'll tell to 130 people. There are 200 people on that group. I want to share this with those 100 people so that they also get to. And for that, I need to read with more attention. So eventually, I start relishing what I'm reading. And when I read with relishment, then I have a higher taste. I'm getting taste in reading. I'm getting taste in doing japa. I'm getting taste in reading, and that will help me say no to the lower taste. If we miss the getting taste here, then eventually we will say yes to the lower taste. This is the this is what. So I have to do these activities with the purpose of getting some relishment out of it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I understood. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Something, Prabhuji, last question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have couple of questions, but looking at the time and the efforts which have already been done, Prabhuji, may I seek your mercy to ask this question personally or in the next session, Prabhuji?
That will be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Or you can
Yeah,
text
thank
me
you very
or
much.
respond by voice message.
Sure, Prabhuji. Sure, Prabhuji. I will do that. And thank you very much for this nectarian session, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, all devotees. Shri Goswami ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jagannath Prabhu Shri
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Guruji, thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
हरे
Prabhuji.
कृष्ण
Dandavat
प्रभु जी
Pranam.
दंडवत प्रणाम हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम
Pranam.